Well, I want to show you the right way to actually cut some sheet metal with a jigsaw. A lot of times people have a hard time cutting metal with sheet jigsaw because the metal's going like this. It's flopping up and down. That's what you don't want to do. You want to hold it really tight. And you notice the piece, it'd be best to actually have it between two tables, clamp on this side and a clamp on this side, and you cutting through the middle. But you just want to, what you're really going to do though, this cuts down the vibration. Now, I'm going to have to do it with one hand though because I'm going to be demonstrating with the camera. The other thing is, you want to use some lube, both on the metal and on the thing over here, the blade. Now, I found when cutting sheet metal, you want, like if you got two speeds, you want to put on high and you want to press down firmly, okay? And you want to press towards the front. You press like you think you're pressing down hard, and the front, where this is right here, is lifting up. It's going to vibrate up and down more. You want to press down more on the front. So this should cut, even when I hold it, I usually hold, when I'm holding the camera, I usually hold those vice grips too to keep the metal from vibrating, but it should cut pretty good. Okay, so now the next cut I got to do is this, but that's going to be, I'm going to have to hold this metal, not this camera, to do that because you see it's unsupported. But you can see that's 18 gauge, cuts through it pretty quick. That blade's been used quite a bit too. Now, if you break off the blades, what you could do is you can use them a little bit shorter. Like I actually broke that one off because it's been used quite a bit, and you wind up using the teeth down a little further where they're sharper. Usually it'll be up here, right? And then you break off the blade, you'll be cutting down here. Like that works okay for sheet metal. If you're doing something deep, if you break off the blade, you might need to replace it. But the one thing you need to do to get it back in here in the chuck is you're probably going to have to grind this nub down here with the Dremel tool, grind this down a little bit so it'll slide in, because you notice this isn't as wide as this part right here. But you know, I made it work fine, and that's the last piece I got to cut out. Then I got to shape them. I got 4 little pieces here, I think 4. 1, 2. There's a couple more here someplace. Yeah, that's one right here. This one. 3 pieces. Excuse me. 1, 2, 3 left. I did 3 big pieces. I got 3 little pieces to do in the back of the El Camino. And what I'm doing is I'm going to chassis saver, coat all that stuff, grind down just the part that it's going to be using the resin, the epoxy resin, and just rivet them down versus welding. So I think it'll be more waterproof, and go over it with some what do you call that stuff again? Rubberized undercoating. But you can, some people have a hard time cutting sheet metal, and the reason is it's vibrating. And even if you got it all clamped down good, make sure you press down good, and make sure you press down more with the front on a jigsaw. If you wind up pressing down good and you're kind of pushing towards the back a little more and you don't realize it, it'll start vibrating, and that's when you break the blades and it doesn't cut well. You want it just to cut. And keep it lubed, and cuts, to me, you can make some curves with it too, just like I made these curves right in here. Cuts pretty good, man. You'd be surprised, you know, how well it goes. And I cut some 10 gauge with this crap too, besides. And just as an added note, you know, with a big enough hammer and even a little vise like this, you can put the shapes and the bends in, which you need to do for a custom fit. So anyway, that's just a quick tip on how to cut sheet metal with a jigsaw more successfully using the same exact tools. Just keep that damn thing from vibrating. Clamp it down and use pressure on the jigsaw, especially towards the front, so it's not vibrating as much and the jigsaw is popping up, and also use a lot of lube. And it works great, man. It does work great.